The Love Boat won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
Can't Buy Me Love.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, yeah. I am almost positive that a large part of the reason why people love this movie is literally because of the Beatles song.
Sure. It's the best thing about the movie.
I don't know about that.
No, it's a guilty pleasure, but it's a very ironic title because
He does.
according to this movie, money can buy love.
He literally does.
He bought his love.
I could have swore there was a scene at the end where she gives the money back to him.
Nope. Not at all.
Maybe in my mind, I always thought at the end when she hands him the envelope and was like, oh, I think this should cover it. In my mind, I was like, oh, she's giving the money back.
No, she's giving him $4.
Yeah, for
mowing the lawn. That's good. The thing that I do like about it is in Some Kind of Wonderful,
yeah,
the kind of horrible version of this,
which is saying a lot.
The dude literally gives up his future for a date with the hottest girl in school.
Right.
You know, it is so stupid. But at least he only gives up his telescope, or his microscope, as Mommy says.
He gets so much more, though. He becomes so popular.
Oh, God. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm going to call it a guilty pleasure.
I agree. I totally agree.
I think most people of our generation have a soft spot for McNerdy. We have a soft spot for Patrick Dempsey's, skinny, nerdy days.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it's funny because I remember him being much more endearing than he was.
Yeah, me too. Times have changed. But he was like the go-to Pygmalion guy. The go-to nerd to, geek to chic, as they say 1,000 times in this movie.
Which in like all those other Pygmalion type movies, he was still super hot, even when he was a nerd. It's like, okay.
Yes.
He was no Courtney Gains. No offense to Courtney Gains.
Courtney Gains, such a good actor, man. And such a good dude, too.
And all his nerdy friends, they had to make them all super nerdy.
This is so funny. We were talking about this yesterday when we were watching it. When we saw it as kids, we totally identified with Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah.
Totally wanted to, however, get into the girl you like. You get friend-zoned, and then, but you're still trying. It's just that horrible pathos of adolescence, is that yearning, that unrequited love.
Yeah.
And, so all of us have kind of been there in one way or another, if we're lucky, as you. So totally identify with him. Now, as an old man, I watch it and I'm like, I wish I were playing poker with Courtney Gains and Max Perlich.
That's literally the opening scene of them talking. He's like, Courtney Gains is like, we're like they're them and we're us, and I'm cool with us being us. And it's like, yeah, man.
Yes.
That is what you should be doing.
No pressure, no fitting in, nowhere. Just drinking sodas and hanging out with your friends, talking about, I don't know, Doctor Who, whatever was big at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just funny how.
I totally, my allegiance has changed drastically. I don't need to try to impress anybody.
I'm too exhausted.
Yeah, it's too tired all the time.
I barely cut my hair. But this movie, there are so many friends of mine that love this movie.
Oh, yeah.
This movie was a huge staple when they were kids. And does it have a great message? No. Not really.
Yeah, I mean...
But this is the thing about
it.
Is that it kind of half does. Because there's little things in it. We were talking about this, too. During the big speech.
The point of the movie speech.
Every movie had the point of the movie speech.
This one was so blunt and so dead on.
I'm going to explain things. I'm going to explain things right now in a way that everybody can understand. When he... At the speech, before that, when Courtney Gains is sitting helping the girl with her homework, and Quint, super jerk, is like, hey, he's trying to pull the Ronald Miller. But Dum Dum McGee and Rico Suave are like,
Big John, and Rico Suave.
they're like, hey man, just chill out, dude.
Yeah. It seemed like they were like kind of trying to stop him.
Yeah.
But then he got up and left, and they were like, nah, not our problem.
Right. Even to the point where Cindy is like, dude, do something.
Say
like,
something. Man, that was the most accurate probably to high school, because it's like at a certain point you're like, well, I can't. He's the football. Like he's the quarterback. I can't do anything. Like, what am I supposed to do?
It's funny too, because a lot of this stuff you're like, well, why? How? Why are they doing? You forget how sociopathic we were as teenagers and adolescents. How I as a sophomore screwed my best friend out of going to prom.
Wow.
Because I asked the girl he loved with to go to prom, and she said yes.
Oh no, you're awful.
Awful.
You are an awful. That was
awful.
Well, you were an awful person.
I hope
I shouldn't say that. That was an awful thing to do.
No, I was not a good person, man. I don't think any of us were.
You were Quint.
I wasn't Quint. I was more Patrick Dempsey.
You were. Oh.
You know.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. In high school, I went to 3 different high schools.
Yeah.
And I had very different experiences in the different high schools. You know, I was a super nerd. I was a jock. I was popular. I had all of the, cliques.
Sure.
But when I was a sophomore, I went to public school, and I was a full-on effing nerd. And my best friends were all seniors from the drama department.
Oh.
So they were the ultra nerds.
Right.
Seniors. So that's who I ran with. And Laser Tag Larry, who didn't go to the school, ended up dating like the hot girl in our group because Larry was the most handsome man alive.
Right.
He looked like a blonde, and this is not an exaggeration. He looked like a blonde, more handsome Tom Cruise.
Wow.
In fact, he went as Tom Cruise Top Gun for Halloween.
Wow.
And people were like, "Yeah, you're better than Maverick."
What is Tom Cruise doing here?
Yeah, exactly. What's Tom Cruise hotter brother? He was like a mixture between Tom Cruise and Iceman.
Oh wow.
And smart guy, but super naive.
Yeah.
Love him to death, but boy, he came out.
And you just stole his girl out from under
No,
him.
not him.
Oh, okay.
I could never steal a girl from Larry. He was my handsome
right.
other. My other friend wasn't as handsome as Larry. Very handsome now. But yeah, it was. I didn't even steal because she.
You just asked and she said yes.
Yeah, because she was best friends with the girl that Larry was going with.
Oh, okay.
So it all worked out in a weird way.
So they weren't like actually dating.
No, but
it's just
I knew.
A thing for her. Yeah.
Loved her. Was in love with her for years.
Yeah.
And I knew this. And I swooped in like a dick.
Well, then you're not. That's not on you then. He should have done something about it.
Well, that's it. No.
Yes. Yes.
Look,
not on you, man. He should have had the balls to say something.
As a best friend, you shouldn't do that.
He should have had the balls.
All right. Wow.
That is on him. You can't pine for. Look, I was the guy in high school who pined after people all the time.
Right, but I think
I never had the balls to say anything.
I think I beat him to the punch. He was going to ask her, and
yeah, but you don't know that.
No, I knew he was my friend, dude.
All right.
Anyway, I appreciate you trying to lessen my.
I'm just saying this is from my perspective.
Right.
Like I was always the guy because I had a very high school. I was so Patrick Dempsey because I worked constantly.
Yeah.
Like I was a nerd. I never hung out with people. Like my friends in high school were all my brothers, like skater friends.
Right.
Like I didn't have a clique. I didn't have anybody. And I went to 2 high schools at the same time. I went to a very advanced high school half the day, and then my stupid idiot high school during the rest of the time. And it was 100% me not having the ability to talk to people.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't ask anybody out. I couldn't do anything. I could 100% see why having $1,000 and getting someone out of a jam is a great idea because you don't have to actually have a conversation.
So superficial. Yeah.
It's so superficial.
But it's weird, man. I mean, I like I said, I have been fat, I've been skinny, I've been nerd, I've been cool. I ditched my nerd friends for cool friends in middle school.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, all of that stuff, I still regret. I still regret how I treated my nerd friends when I started getting a little bit popular. I fully regret taking that girl to prom and screwing up that friendship. And the funny thing is, I ended up buying a car from him years later.
Oh, wow.
And he could have totally screwed me over, but he didn't. He's a good dude.
That's because he's a good person.
He is a good person, very good person. I think we're still Facebook friends.
Oh, good.
He and his brother, we grew up together. But Yeah, it's easy to forget how tumultuous and dramatic adolescence.
Well, everything. It's like all hormones are like 1,000%.
Yes.
So everything is life or death.
Yes.
Constantly.
Yes, and I think we forget that as we get older, and that's why it makes it hard for people to like identify with teenagers or to understand what they're going through, because they're like, come on, it's just this, and they're like, oh my God, you don't understand. It is not my life.
Well, and this is why I think the criticism of this movie is unwarranted.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that most of the critics that reviewed this were not in high school at the time.
Agreed.
When they were watching it, and I think most of them forgot just how stupid and silly high school could be.
Yes, and a lot of the cringe and a lot of the scenes and stuff that seem ridiculous are actually more true to form.
And there are some cringy scenes.
Super cringe.
Woo.
Patrick Dempsey is one of the cringiest MFers on the planet.
There is the sequence after he breaks up with her and then he comes to school the next day. It's hard for me to literally watch the screen. It is so cringeworthy.
Oh, yeah.
So cringeworthy.
He looks like he's an undercover narc.
It looks like he just jumped out of 21 Jump Street.
Yes. And it's oversized. And oh, my God. Oh, my God. They did not do him any favors.
No, it was bad.
But I did enjoy watching it again, and it's really because it has to have been maybe 30 years since I've seen this movie.
I think it's I know I've seen it more recently than that, but it has to have been at least 15 years. Yeah. I've always had a soft spot for this movie because I grew up in Iowa and I had relatives in Tucson, and so like when this movie was set in Tucson, and then the boyfriend football players going to Iowa. I don't remember anyone ever talking about Iowa in movies. And I want to say this was before Field of Dreams, which obviously set in Iowa.
Right.
But I wasn't into baseball, so I didn't care. But it was cool to be like, oh my God, there's this connection. It felt more personal for me because of that. And I don't know if that made me endear myself more to the movie or it made me identify more with him.
Probably because that's how things worked back then.
Yeah.
For whatever reason,
I latched on when I was 11 years old and was like, "Hey,
Yeah. Well, I think I think that it does really capture the clique aspect of high school. I think it's fairly surface. It doesn't go very deep, but it goes deeper than some of these.
It's a very dramatized version of that.
Yeah.
It's a very extreme version of that. But watching it again, like I was really prepared for this movie to be like, oh God.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
No,
I was surprised by how much it wasn't that bad. Like, does he come around really quickly? I mean, he has to get essentially shit on in a party for him to realize how stupid he was being. But like that's what makes it work.
Well, also he is a pariah to everybody afterwards. Sitting eating his lunch but alone under the tree.
It was still, though, like 2 feet away from everybody else.
But I will say the scene between Courtney Gains and Dempsey in the arcade when he finally confronts him about throwing shit on his house. Courtney Gains is brilliant in that scene.
Good. And it's so good.
And I have had fights like that with best friends, you know?
Yeah.
Where you come to the point where friendship over.
Yeah.
And then you hopefully get back to being pals. But, yeah, I mean, there was so much heart and honesty about what it's like being a teenager in this movie that it, to me, overcomes the cringy ridiculousness, and the Borscht Belt shtick of Seth Green, Shecky Green.
It's so weird.
Hey, it's like excuse me. It's like Seth Green is doing Jackie Mason.
I know.
Hey, what's going on over here?
So
look at this guy.
Weird. It's so weird.
What does he think he's got going on? This guy over here. Look at him.
He was also very young. I always forget that it's Seth Green because he's so young in this. But he is like a 40-year-old Seth Green in a tiny kid's body.
Well, because Seth Green did a couple of Woody Allen movies.
Yeah.
Where he played a young Woody Allen.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of
rubbed off.
Stuck with him. He was like this little Woody Allen for a while and then became his own thing. I love Seth Green. His career is fascinating.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Huge fan of Robot Chicken.
I was shocked by how many, and we'll get to that, but I was shocked by how many episodes of Family Guy there's been.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's been on forever,
Yeah.
but like, man, I had no idea.
But I mean, going from being like the nerd, and then I don't know if I'm pretty sure you didn't watch it, but he on Buffy the Vampire Slayer as the werewolf,
right,
was so cool. He was just the coolest character.
Right,
he was just quiet, cool, and it's a testament to how great an actor he is that he could go from being the coolest guy, the chillest, coolest guy, to the biggest nerd, to this awesome silly performance that he gave in Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, yeah.
As the boy band with his best friend, Breckenmeyer.
Yeah.
And they've been doing stuff forever. They did that.
Yeah. That up the paddle up the creek or whatever the hell it was called.
Well, just recently
they did a new thing.
They did a movie where they're best friends and they go to Thailand, and it was basically just them taking all their best friends and making a movie in Thailand and having fun. Yeah, it's great. You know, the kid is lasted forever. You know, through Austin Powers, through Buffy, everything. He's very solid.
He's very brilliant. And I will say, man, seeing the more recent photos of Seth Green, he has grown into his good looks.
Yeah.
He is the silver beard. It looks so good on him. I'm like, man, I'm so jealous of that beard.
He's a good looking kid. And
he just was so goofy looking in this movie.
Well, yeah, but he's good at comedy, he's good at drama. He's been around forever, and he tells a hilarious story of Bill Murray throwing him in a trash can.
Oh, nice.
When he was a child. Nice. Bill Murray wasn't the nicest guy back then. But
No.
Well, let's get into it. We're going to talk about this forever.
Yes, let's do it. Take yourself back to 1987.
Oh, yeah.
August 3rd, Def Leppard releases Hysteria, the longest rock album ever released as a single LP or cassette.
I think it was done with Def Leppard by the 87.
It's funny because that was when Pour Some Sugar on Me was on that album, and I remember being at a camp, and one of the camp counselors hated Def Leppard, and he told this whole freaky story, and it ended with him essentially using the line "Pour some sugar on me." Like, he worked it all in. It was so clever and really funny.
Nice.
But by the time we got to the end, people were like, "Oh, come on!" And he was like, "I hate them. I hate them so much."
I thought you were going to say, "I heard that song and predicted it would be in every strip club within 2 months."
August 4th, the federal.
I just want to ask: had the drummer lost his arm by then?
Yes.
That's
it was. I believe it was before Hysteria. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, August 4th, the Federal Communications Commission rescinds the Fairness Doctrine, which had required radio and television stations to fairly present controversial issues.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Reagan administration.
That is the beginning of the end of
news.
News in this country.
Yeah, back in the day, stations, ABC, CBS, NBC, to get their licenses, they had to donate a block of time to the news. The news was not a for-profit. It was a non-profit arm of the network.
Yeah.
And it was basically the community service to have your licenses. So it had to be fair and impartial. And it couldn't be biased.
You couldn't be biased. If you're biased, you would lose your license.
And there was no pressure to make money or ratings on news. People either just watched ABC, NBC, CBS, either Walter Cronkite or one of these very respectable people. Right. And then as soon as this was gone, man.
Well, you could say that the reason the Fairness Doctrine happened was because of stuff like CNN, which did not fall into the same issues because they were cable and not over broadcast.
They were.
So but then all the news people in the broadcast were like, well, they're making money hand over fist. Yeah. We should be able to too. And then the Fairness Doctrine came in and Fox News.
Yay! There we go. And here we are today.
Here we are now.
All the misinformation you could ever want.
August 7th, The Care Bears Adventure in Wonderland premieres. The film does not do any better than the prequel Care Bears Movie 2, A New Generation. A reviewer declares,
"It was just one sequel too many." Aw, poor Care Bears. They just want to give you a hug, Adam.
Give you the old Care Bear stare.
Care Bears were weird.
They were so weird.
They had like stuff shooting out of their chests, like rainbows and things.
Yeah. Love. They were shooting love.
Yeah, the hate bears always came after them.
August 14th, Can't Buy Me Love is released in theaters. So, Can't Buy Me Love starts with Michael Swerdlick, the writer, who wrote the film while working as a mail clerk at the William Morris Agency.
All right.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man, you started as a clerk, you work your way up.
Back in the day, you could theoretically get a movie made while being a mail clerk.
Well, it was a bit of a meritocracy back then.
A little bit. One weekend, an agent invited Swerdlick and other mailroom clerks to a party on a Saturday night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cocaine!
Getting to go hang with the big boys. Swerdlick brought with him an extremely attractive lady friend, and the agents took notice.
It was his sister.
I actually don't know. It was his sister. I'm sure he was trying to bed said woman. That Monday, back at the office, Swerdlick's cachet at the agency had risen, with agents wanting to hang out with him just because he brought an attractive woman to a party.
Gross. Gross. Dudes are gross, man. Dudes are gross.
And the William Morris Agency is apparently just like high school.
Worse, probably.
Yeah. When he decided to write a screenplay about high school, he incorporated this experience into what would become Can't Buy Me Love.
Hilarious. It's just... I spent some time hanging out with Wall Street guys. I had a friend who was a Wall Street guy. And it was like hanging out with frat dudes all the time. It was the grossest.
That would just drive me crazy.
We would go to get lunch or something, and you would go with the big boss, right? Mm-hmm. And these guys were so afraid of him, so afraid of the big boss.
Right,
They're like,
right.
Can't order anything until only afford until he orders food. We're all hungover, and we're drinking whiskey. And I was like, F you and F him. I don't work for him. I'm ordering a goddamn sandwich. What is he going to do, fire me? And they were all like, oh. And it was just like,
yeah, whatever.
What do I care?
And you ordered a sandwich, nothing happened. The world didn't end.
Oh, my friend got in trouble because his friend was,
whatever.
It's just so stupid. All that kind of hazing bullshit or any of that kind of like...
It's so dumb.
It is so immature. It is the definition of immaturity, and anybody who wants to haze somebody or make them punish them to get into their group is just a douche.
Yeah.
An absolute douchebag.
They are. The script was originally titled Boy Rents Girl and found its way into the hands of producer Tom Mount.
Worst title ever.
Oh, bad. The script...
That was also the original title of Pretty Woman.
Oh, yeah. I think that was actually Boy Buys Girl.
Yes.
Yeah. The script was incredibly crass and very bawdy. It was a very, very hard R, if it was to be made in that way. Yeah. Mount had been the president of Universal from 1975 through early 1985, overseeing the development and release of over 200 films.
Wow.
In 1985, he started his own company, the Mount Company. The first 3 movies his company released, he was credited as an exec producer or supervising producer, not having much hands-on producing. My Man Adam was released in 1985, starring Raphael Sbarge, Paige Hanna, and Veronica Cartwright.
Is that about you?
Yeah, My Man Adam. Yeah,
nice.
I was 6 at the time when they were making it. But
well, you were a little man back then.
I was a little big man.
Yeah.
It made less than $100,000 at the box office. In 1986, Mount released JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, starring and directed by Richard Pryor. It did not make its budget back, and Pryor never directed again.
Good. That man is the greatest stand-up in history. He's not a good film director.
Not be behind the camera.
And it was his story. It was basically based on him
yeah.
growing up in a brothel and all that. And to make that not very good and uninteresting, that was a feat.
It's hard. It's hard. Also in 1986, he released Pirates, starring Walter Matthau and directed by Roman Polanski.
Forgot that movie existed. I really did. But there was a time, too, when there were all of these pirate movies coming out.
Yeah. For Can't Buy Me Love, Mount took more of a hands-on approach, producing the film himself. Mount secured distribution through Touchstone, who insisted on making the film into a PG-13 rom-com.
Womp womp.
Yeah. Mount would hire Steve Rash to direct the film. Rash started as a music video director in the 70s, long before music videos were a thing, working with the likes of Billy Joel, B.B. King, Jimi Hendrix, Ray Charles, Kenny Rogers, and The Who.
The Who.
Which back in the day, mostly the music videos were just essentially live concerts.
Well, it would be live concerts, but it would be a shot of the singer superimposed with a close-up of the singer in the upper right corner.
On the other side, yeah. It was so much of that, This would lead to his first feature, The Buddy Holly Story, in 1978, starring Gary Busey as Buddy Holly.
Yeah, let's go, Buddy Holly, Gary Busey. I was before I got in a motorcycle accident and ruined my head, and then started talking in weird letters.
Oh,
like
my God.
FAST, F-A-S-T. Forget all stupid terms.
I just sent a clip of Gary Busey. Like, someone had asked him a question, and oh, my God, jumped to, like, 5 different topics in, like, 10 seconds.
I like eating marmalade sandwiches.
So weird. It was so weird.
He's not right.
No, he's definitely got some issues.
Oh, my God. I love Gary Busey, though.
He was very good in Buddy Holly Story.
He was good in everything. He was good in... listen to our Lethal Weapon show.
Yeah.
Listen to our Predator 2 show.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about the abuse.
It's too bad he lost his mind.
I lost my mind. I lost my marbles. I don't know where my marbles are. And I got crazy big teeth.
The Buddy Holly Story would make over $14 million from a less than $2 million budget and was nominated for 3 Oscars, including Best Actor for Gary Busey, while winning Best Adaptation Score.
Good for it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Rash's second directing effort was released in 1981, Under the Rainbow, starring Chevy Chase and Carrie Fisher, about the audition process for The Little People before The Wizard of Oz was made.
This is the movie we're going to add to our Hot to Trot and Big Trouble.
I want to see this movie so bad.
This was one of those movies that was on Showtime or HBO all the time.
Yeah.
Back really early. Because when did it come out?
81.
Yeah. So it was at the beginning of like when everybody was getting HBO or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I got to see this movie as a kid. It's got Carrie Fisher from Star Wars. It's got Chevy Chase, whom I love. It's about Wizard of Oz, which I love.
Yeah.
Murder mystery.
I am shocked I've never seen this because I love The Wizard of Oz. But this movie...
That's why you haven't seen
was
it.
So awful.
But it's going on our list.
I definitely want to cover it. It just made its budget back and was considered a box office flop. It was lambasted for how it treated the little people in the film. I think the notion of them being like drunken miscreants comes from this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know that they weren't angels during the filming of Wizard of Oz.
But there was no... I mean, you could see it in this movie, too. The 80s was the decade of casual racism.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Stereotypes are funny. Let's just make fun of whatever.
It was that first conversation with Courtney Gains and Patrick Dempsey when they're walking down, and Patrick Dempsey just casually throws out the R word, and I was just like, ah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it really caught me off guard.
Well, everybody said retarded back
I
then.
know.
It was just, it's coming back now. Elon Musk is bringing back the R word.
Well, if anybody's poster child for the R word, it's Elon Musk.
True.
Rash wouldn't make another feature film until Can't Buy Me Love was released in 1987.
Yeah, he had to
kind of kill his career.
Pay penance for that horrible movie.
So Patrick Dempsey was cast as Ronald Miller. Dempsey was diagnosed with dyslexia at the age of 12, which he says led to his success as he was forced to never give up. He actually started his career as an athlete, but his sport of choice was juggling.
Is juggling a sport, Adam?
No. But I just wanted to say that.
Did he? Oh, I broke my pinky. My juggling career is over.
Technically,
I'm going to be an actor.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it takes dexterity, and it's like, it's not, I mean, not everybody can juggle.
No, juggling is tough. When those dudes do the double juggle and that kind of crap, that stuff.
The double juggle?
You know, when they're doing the pins to each other.
Double juggle was the name of my band in high school.
Yeah, that was the name of my chest when I was chubby. But yeah, look, I don't have anything against juggling. It's not like being a mime or a magician, but it leads to it. It's like a gateway drug to those types of horrible entertainment.
And the other reason that I say it's a sport is because in 1981, at the age of 15, he achieved second place at the International Jugglers Association Championship in the juniors category, just behind Anthony Gatto, who is considered to be the best technical juggler of all time.
Yeah, there were 6 people there, and 4 of them were the audience.
Technically, only 2 people. 2 people were performing or competing, and they both got first and second.
And Steve Martin was in the audience, like, ooh. Are they better than me?
Nobody's as good as me.
I'm the juggler. I'm Hollywood's juggler.
I'm the juggler, the new Batman villain. The juggler. Dempsey found acting through theater, being asked to audition for a play and becoming a touring actor in his early years, which he was a paid touring regional theater actor.
Good for him.
Yeah, which is impressive. His first credited role was in Heaven Help Us in 1985, starring
Andrew McCarthy, Mary Stuart Masterson, Kevin Dillon, Malcolm Denaire, Stephen Jeffries, Jay Patterson, Wallace Shawn, John Hurt, and Donald Sutherland. That's a great movie.
I've never seen it. I shouldn't say that. I don't remember it if I've seen it.
It's very funny. It's a very poignant, accurate tale of going to a Catholic school as a boy.
Okay, that's probably why I didn't watch it.
Donald Sutherland's like the cool priest kind of that teaches the boy. Maybe John Hurt is the cool priest. I don't know.
I mean, the cast is great. Like, it's something that I would be interested in seeing.
That's really funny. It's that was one of Bill's favorite movies. But
oh yeah,
he loved Can't Buy Me Love and Heaven Help
Help
Us. It was anything. He loved Patrick Dempsey. It was weird.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, Heaven Help Us it's a fun little.
Okay.
It's a period piece. I think it takes place in the 60s or something. And, a lot of masturbation jokes and things.
Right, of course.
Because it's kids.
Right. Dempsey had his first lead in a made-for-TV movie called A Fighting Choice about a boy with epilepsy.
Ooh.
Yeah. At the same time that A Fighting Choice was released, Dempsey was in the TV adaptation of Fast Times at Ridgemont High called Fast Times.
Oh, God, I remember this.
Dempsey played Mike Damone.
Yeah, he did.
The show ran for a total of 7 episodes before being canceled.
This is back when they would cut the balls out of these R-rated films and make TV shows, whether it was this, or there was Delta House, which was the Animal House one. And
there were a ton that were just awful, and none of them ever ran more than 5 or 6 episodes.
No, because they were ill-conceived garbage.
Because everybody was like, I want to see the movie again?
Nobody wants to see a watered-down version of Fast Times.
No. Why?
They all just want to see Phoebe Cates coming out of a pool. Let's be honest.
In February of 1987, Dempsey had his first feature lead in Meatballs 3, Summer Job. Do you remember Meatballs 3?
I remember Meatballs 1.
Meatballs 3 was a direct sequel to Meatballs 1.
One of them had an alien. Was this
Meatballs?
The one with the alien?
No, that was Meatballs 2. Meatballs 2 had nothing to do with the first movie and was very weird.
It was like a takeoff on E.T.
Yeah, it was super weird.
The first Meatballs is a sweet little movie with, I think, Chris Makepeace as a nerdy little boy, the guy from My Bodyguard. And Bill Murray in a super sweet performance as the camp counselor kind of takes him under his wing. And he learns to run and he joins the race at the end. And it's just a sweet little movie about camp. And then they turned it into this bizarre franchise. That just went all these crazy places.
Really weird and doesn't make any sense. Meatballs 3, the funny thing is that it's not even set in a camp. It's literally...
concentration camp?
I said not a camp. Patrick Dempsey's playing the main character, who I think was the Chris Makepeace. He's playing him as he's older, like getting a job during the summer. That's pretty much it.
Well, that's not Meatballs.
Well, you can go complain to the Meatballs board.
Well, I will. Damn it.
Being extremely interested in cars and car racing since he was young, Dempsey used all of his pay from Can't Buy Me Love to buy his first car, a 1963 Porsche 356 convertible.
Ooh.
We'll talk more about Dempsey next week when we have more in our McNerdy month.
Yay.
Yeah. Amanda Peterson was cast as Cindy Mancini.
Oh, man, I had such a crush on her.
Huge. At age 7 in 1978, Peterson made her stage debut as Gretel von Trapp in a University of Northern Colorado production of The Sound of Music.
Those University of Northern Colorado productions were pretty damn good, if I recall correctly.
She was from Greeley, Colorado, and there with her parents. She eventually ended up back in Greeley. In 1982, she appeared in the musical film Annie as a dancing extra.
It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. Instead of kisses, we get kicked. I don't know. That sounds pretty mean.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty hard knock life.
This would lead to guest roles on TV shows such as Father Murphy and Silver Spoons. Peterson was a prolific commercial actor, appearing in more than 50 commercials.
She had that look, man.
Oh, she did.
She was the all-American little blonde girl.
Yeah. In 1983, she landed a co-lead in the NBC series Boone, appearing in 13 episodes. It was canceled after 1 season.
So you're saying it wasn't a boon to her career?
No. She made her first major film appearance in Explorers in 1985. While the film was a bomb, it became a cult classic.
Listen to our Explorers episode to hear why I hate that movie so much. The worst third act of every movie ever made.
How she just randomly shows up at the end exactly where they're landing.
What are you doing here?
It's just like, what?
I had a vision.
Yeah.
This stupid teenage aliens told me a worst third act of any movie ever.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But do listen to our Explorers episode. Jim is very funny in it.
There's a lot of passion. Passion.
When Peterson was cast in Can't Buy Me Love, she was 15 years old. For reference, Dempsey was 20.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
And sadly, it was around this time that Peterson was raped, but kept it from everyone, including her family.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. She didn't even tell her sister, who she was really close with. After the incident, Patterson's attitude changed, and she exhibited major trust issues.
Of course.
They don't know. The family didn't know this at the time. Like, the incident was very secret, and they just noticed that she became a very different person.
Was it on this film, or?
It was around the time. I don't know.
Okay.
But she was supposedly 15 late 15 when it happened. So.
Did they catch the person who did it?
No, she never told anybody.
Oh, my God.
She didn't tell anybody. So it's there's no confirmation that it actually happened, but as she got older and worse things started happening, like, it kind of came out that there was an incident that happened that kind of changed everything.
Well, that's horrible.
Yeah. Her performance in Can't Buy Me Love turned the bright lights of the Hollywood media on her, and she became a teen idol, gracing a plethora of magazine covers.
Well, she was very good at playing the rich bitch, quoties.
Yeah.
That's what they called them back then. Yeah. With a heart. And her, not journey, I hate that word, but her experience through this film is very real.
Yeah, she's really good in this movie. It's a very honest performance from the very beginning, where she's just kind of aloof and like very stereotypical, to the end when the scene where it's so obvious she's falling for him, and he's such an idiot and doesn't see it, but like it is so believable.
Well, look, Patrick Dempsey's great and all, but she's the heart of this movie.
Oh,
and without her and her performance, this movie doesn't work.
Totally.
Because he doesn't have heart in this movie. Watching this again, he's an asshole.
Oh, no, he's awful.
And deserves everything he gets.
Yes.
And she should not have gotten out of that car and jumped onto his lawnmower. She should have kept on driving and
it should have been done.
Friends.
That was the most unbelievable part of the whole movie, is that she did jump back in with him. Yeah.
And I have a feeling that was probably like retooled.
Probably.
At the end. But yeah, look, the movie hinges on her, because if you don't buy her performance and buy her character, then nothing works, because then you're like, well, why would he do this?
Yeah, exactly. She only appeared in a handful of movies after Can't Buy Me Love. The Lawless Land in 1988, a post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie from Roger Corman.
Yeah.
Listen to Me in 1989, a drama co-starring Kirk Cameron, Jamie Gertz, and Roy Scheider.
Vaguely remember that.
I did not. This is new to me. After this film, she went back to Greeley and actually graduated from high school.
Okay.
She spent a couple years off. Fatal Charm, a thriller which was shot in 1990 but wasn't released until 1992 on Showtime.
Weird.
Yeah. And Windrunner in 1994, a sports movie about a Native American who learns about football from the ghost of Jim Thorpe. This was Peterson's final film role before retiring and moving back to Colorado, where she grew up.
She's like, hey, perfection can't be topped.
Yeah. She was in a bunch of TV stuff, too. She did a lot of TV episodes, guest starring and things. It's not like her career was dying. I think she just had enough and was like, I'm done with it.
Well, she also never hit anything as big as Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah.
You know, there was a glut of pretty blonde young actresses back then. I mean, 5 of them were in this movie.
Yes.
So it was tough to break out.
So she wanted to change, and she attended 3 different colleges. She would get married twice and have 2 children. Unfortunately, between 2000 and 2012, Peterson was arrested 5 times for the offenses of third-degree assault, harassment, DUI, and a possession of drug paraphernalia, and suspicion of distributing a Schedule II controlled substance.
This all sounds like she had some serious issues.
Yeah. She fought against drug addiction for most of her adult life. The last 3 years of her life, she lived alone in an apartment in Colorado. Patterson was reported missing on July 3rd, 2015, after her family grew concerned when she failed to attend a planned dinner. 2 days later, on July 5th, she was found dead at her home by Greeley police at the age of 43.
Damn, that's young.
She had recently had a hysterectomy and obtained morphine from a friend for the pain. The coroner attributed her death to respiratory failure triggered by a morphine effect.
So it was an accidental overdose.
They had given her some pain meds, but I don't think they were enough. And so she hit up a friend, and I don't know if the friend... At that point, I think she had been sober for like 3 years.
Right.
But I don't think the friend knew about the past or was like, okay, you know, as long as you're doing it right and like, you know...
it sounds like she was just looking for some pain relief.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, you know...
Yeah, it was, you know, it was just very unfortunate, and it sucks. Like, I wish, if I had a time machine, I wish I could go back and make it so that Amanda Peterson did not have this life.
I do that for every woman, whoever is sexually assaulted. It ruins lives, man. You're murdering somebody, but they stay alive. I mean, basically, you know, in a lot of cases. I'm not saying that people can't overcome it, but it takes a lot of work, and it's... That, to me, is worse than murder almost, because at least with murder, it's over.
Right.
And this is something that lasts forever, you know, and especially if you do it to a child or somebody who's 15, then you're an absolute effing monster, and you should be strung up by your balls.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just so very tragic.
And it's so unbelievably, horribly common.
I know. It sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah. Do better.
Yes, do better, everyone. Tina Caspary was cast as Barbara. Caspary started as a dancer. She was actually cast with Amanda Peterson as a backup dancer in the film Annie in 1982.
Ooh.
They were actually friends and then got on this movie together. She appeared in some guest spots on TV shows like Silver Spoons and Growing Pains, along with a couple of TV movies, but Can't Buy Me Love was her feature film speaking role debut.
I remember her from Silver Spoons. I had such a crush on her.
Yeah.
I always went for the brunies, the brunettes.
Yeah.
I liked the darker brunette, got a little extra eyebrow. I don't know. Something about that hit me much harder than like the I was never the blonde guy.
I was never too big, which is funny because I did have a huge crush on Amanda Peterson, but I was never really into blondes.
Neither was I. I almost married 2 blondes.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't. But it's crazy. But I fully remember her, and then just, again, having such a crush on her.
That same year, she was actually cast as Kelly Bundy in the original pilot for Married with Children before being recast by Christina Applegate.
Oh.
There's actually the guy who played Bud was somebody else, too, and they recast him as well. In 1988, she would appear in Mac and Me about an alien that befriends a wheelchair-bound boy. Yes, that movie that Paul Rudd always shows clips of to Conan O'Brien.
Oh, that is such
I shouldn't say clips. That same clip over and over again.
The kid in the wheelchair going over the cliff. That was a movie that was a complete ripoff of E.T. that was made by McDonald's.
It was so weird and so bad.
The most off-putting creature I have ever seen. The most off-putting creature. As soon as you saw that thing, you would step on it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be buddies with it.
No, you wouldn't make it your friend.
Make it your McDonald's buddy.
Caspary appeared in some B movies in the late 80s, Teen Witch and My Mom is a Werewolf, before making her final appearance in the TV show Valley of the Dolls in 1994.
Oh.
She retired from acting after this and started her own line of dancewear in 1996 that is now one of the top dancewear brands in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they just celebrated their coming up on their 28th anniversary of doing it. Yeah, it's crazy. she still teaches dances and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
she's got a studio here in LA, and
not that it matters, but she looks amazing.
Oh, she's very those dancers, man. You keep dancing when you get older. You stay very fit.
Just don't ever look at their feet. For God's sake,
that's actually very true. That's very true. Darcy DeMoss was cast as Patty.
Oh, Patty.
DeMoss started her career by appearing in aerobics productions in the late 70s and early 80s.
She looks so much like an aerobics video
Yes, she does.
Actor with that big old poodle hair.
She's an aerobics production come to life.
She lived in leotards and leg warmers, baby.
Oh, yeah. She mostly appeared in sex comedies and horror movies throughout her career, such as Hard Bodies and Gimme an F in 1984.
Hard Bodies is such a stupid movie.
Such a bad movie. Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives in 1986. Reformed Schoolgirls in 1986, and Return to Horror High in 1987.
I've seen all of those movies.
The funny thing is I've never seen Return to Horror High, but it was one of those that I remember going to a certain video store in a small town in Iowa. My dad he did wood carving, and he would sell, and there was this festival at Winterset, Iowa, where John Wayne was born.
Oh, wow.
And they had a little town square, and it was so like perfect, like small town square. But there was one video rental store, and it had all of these horror movies that I'd never heard of.
Nice.
That that weren't on TV and were banned and all this stuff. And I distinctly remember Return to Horror High with the skeleton cheerleader and being like, I have to see this.
And you never rented it?
Nope, never did.
Oh.
Never did.
Well, let's go down to the video store today, Adam.
I couldn't rent anything because I was like 10, so they wouldn't let me. But I could look at them.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how I learned about like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and a couple of those other weird like Christmas horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. She most recently appeared in Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No, in 2015, and Clown Fear in 2020.
Stupid Clown Fear. What a horrible name for a movie.
Yeah. So she's still acting. It's just, she's still kind of doing the B-movie circuit.
Good for her. Look, there's a lot of actors that hit their stride in B-movies and horror movies, and they're, Barbara Crampton and... Is that her name?
Barbara Crampton.
I don't know. But there's all these scream queens and stuff, and I think it's great. Look, however you maintain a career is however you maintain a career. And that is not easy in this business, especially as a woman.
Yeah, totally. Court McCown was cast as Quint. McCown actually had an uncredited part in Teen Wolf in 1985 as one of Michael J. Fox's basketball teammates.
Oh, yeah.
I think I remember him in that. And,
sure.
And because he looked like a... Yeah, no, I do actually, now that I say it. He just looked like that type. Can't Buy Me Love was his first credited speaking role. McCown appeared in a few more movies, including Beverly Hills Brats in 1989, starring Peter Billingsley and Martin Sheen.
Beverly Hills Brats! So they make all those weird Beverly Hills movies, like Troop Beverly Hills. Troop Beverly Hills with Shelley Long is based on a good friend of mine's Girl Scout troop. She was in a Girl Scout troop in Beverly Hills. And the person who wrote it was like her troop master or something.
Yeah.
And so
I think Troop Beverly Hills is really funny.
Yeah, but it's just so weird.
A guilty pleasure, yeah.
One of the characters is my friend Sue.
He was also in Auntie Lee's Meat Pies in 1992.
It's a porno?
Starring Karen Black and Pat Morita.
Nice.
So, yes. He also
wax on, wax up, baby.
He also made appearances on TV on episodes of Hunter, Jag, and Beverly Hills 90210. His last appearance would be a 3-episode stint on Passions, the NBC soap opera. In 2000, McCown retired from acting and focused on his stand-up career.
All right.
He became a regular at the world-famous Comedy Store and Laugh Factory in L.A. In 2003, McCown created the Playboy Comedy Tour that was at the Palms Hotel in Las Vegas for 9 years, winning Best of Las Vegas several times.
That's great. The thing that I love the best about his character was that he was a wine aficionado.
Oh, my God. Yeah, drinking Ripple. It was,
And the whole point, the only reason he was to get that jacket stained.
It was a plot device.
But they stuck with it.
They did.
And it was pretty funny when he was... And every time he would hand the wine to one of the girls he was trying to impress, every single one of them took a sip and was like... I like that running gag.
It was funny. It was funny. He was also the morning show host for Playboy Radio when it debuted on Sirius Satellite Radio. He now has a podcast with a stand-up buddy called Insensitivity Training.
He's a silver fox, man. That guy.
He's a handsome dude.
He looks good.
He's a handsome dude.
I haven't heard his comedy or his podcast, but he was really fun in this movie. He looked like he was 30, so he didn't really have the high school vibe, but he captured that vapid, entitled jock character very well. And in the end, when they exposed him for the crybaby he was when he broke his arm.
Right.
It was a neat little moment, and it was a nice little... It was very realistic, too, the way he shook Courtney Gains' hand.
Yeah.
And was kind of shame, but feeling like a good, solid teenage work.
Yeah. It was... Yeah, his character was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it was... This is what I love about this movie, because all the characters could be really two-dimensional, but they all have a little bit of depth.
Yeah, he had the least out of all of them.
Hey,
but
he liked wine.
Well, he also was the one, like we said, Big John and Rico Suave.
Right. They were trying to grow and be better people.
And he was not having it.
No, he was trying to keep the status quo.
Oh, and then Patrick Dempsey with his bat comes storming over.
He hit that table so hard. If I was sitting by them and that he hit that table right there, I would have shit myself.
Hey, that was my sandwich. You jerk. No wonder everybody hates you.
Speaking of Big John, Eric Bruce-Cotter was cast as Big John.
I love him.
Bruce-Cotter made a few guest appearances on TV before making his debut feature performance in Can't Buy Me Love. That same year, he was cast in Tour of Duty, a TV show about the Vietnam War that ran for 3 seasons, appearing in 22 episodes.
He seems like a dude that died in Vietnam. Like, kind of a...
the weirdest thing to say.
He just seems like the kind of guy that is fairly generic.
Yeah.
You know, good old boy from Nebraska or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just seems like he seems like his character from Starship Troopers. Like a guy that would just kind of die.
Yeah. He would continue to make TV appearances until he was cast in Major League 2, playing the new catcher in 1994.
Oh, he was good in that.
He was so good in that. He reprised the role in Major League Back to the Minors in 1998. In 1997, he appeared in Starship Troopers as the recruit who accidentally gets killed from live fire during a training exercise.
Don't take your helmet off, dum-dum.
So stupid. It was so shocking. And then suddenly zap, and his face disappears.
It was a bummer because I liked him. He's solid, man.
He's very solid.
Very solid at what he does.
He's really good in this movie, too. I mean, like, he's, again, not a lot of depth, but there's some.
He's a dumb jock, man. And
man, can he fart?
Oh, yeah. Poor little Seth Green. Poor little Seth Green gets blasted every time.
Got the whiff of that twice.
Oh, so stupid. But he was very good. I mean, look, we all knew dudes like that. Just kind of surface level people that just kind of go with the flow.
But a good dude. He's probably loyal as hell, and like is solid. Like you could count on him to help if you need it.
He's too dumb to know any better. He's just a dummy. Dumb.
He's never going to try to steal your girl.
No, he's never going to be valedictorian.
No. He could never quite crack the feature film code and has spent most of his career in TV. His last credit was a 4-episode stint on Glee in 2012.
I remember that. He was really good.
I never watched Glee. Last word is he's married and living in Utah, volunteering for animal shelters. He's kind of stopped acting.
I love it. Animal shelters. That makes me love him.
Yeah, I think his wife is really. I think she might be like a vet tech or something. But like he apparently shows up at a lot of like animal festivals and things, like helping animals get homes.
Well, great. Way to go, Eric.
Yeah. Gerardo Mejia was cast as Ricky, not Rico Suave, as we keep calling him.
Gerardo.
Mejia, better known as just Gerardo, shares a birthday with me. We're both born April 16th.
Nice.
It's crazy. Can't Buy Me Love was his feature film debut, which he followed up the next year by appearing in Colors.
Colors.
I knew you were going to do that.
Psychopath walking it.
Gerardo would appear in a few other movies, most notably A Million to One in 1994, starring Paul Rodriguez.
That's a classic.
But he mostly focused on his musical career. I remember watching A Million to One and think he was really funny. I'm pretty sure that if I watched it again now, it would be very cringy.
I don't remember it. I always got that one mixed up with Born in the USA with Cheech.
Oh, yeah. Paul Rodriguez just recently got caught with drugs, apparently.
Well, it sounded like it was a setup.
Yeah, it seems like it was a setup. But anyway.
Paul, get on the show. Call us up. Clear your name.
He actually taught Patrick Dempsey that wavy dance that you mentioned in the trailer. That thing that when she walks up and he's doing
robot?
a weird wavy thing. Yeah, he taught him how to do that with the arms. Yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah.
I used to break.
This is also an audio medium, so no one can see you doing it.
But I do it really well. I make the noises.
His music career exploded in 1991 with his hit song Rico Suave.
Rico Suave. Yeah, that was all it was. Him saying his name.
Rico.
He was the
Suave.
He was the original Jason Derulo.
The song actually topped out at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. He is now a recording industry executive and a Christian pastor.
Okay, good for him. Yeah, he's a one-hit wonder. I don't remember any other songs.
I'm pretty sure now when he's in the kitchen, he wears a shirt.
Nice.
Not like in the movie where somehow during a home economics class, he's wearing an apron with no shirt.
Well, he's the eye candy, man. Gerardo.
He might have been wearing a tank top.
I don't think so.
But I'm pretty sure we saw his back. Anyway. Yeah. It was a weird time.
We wore half shirts. Men wore half shirts back then.
Yeah.
You know,
there was a few of them in this movie.
Yeah. They were originally because we wore them under our pads for football.
Right.
but people would wear their half shirts around, and it was half shirts and super short shorts, man. We all look like we were in a Village People video back then with our tiny little short shorts and our knee socks.
Everyone was
and our
just
half shirts.
ready to start an orgy.
Good Lord, man. Oh, my God.
Courtney Gains was cast as Kenneth Werman.
Courtney
Gains. He made his feature film debut in 1984 with Children of the Corn, based on the Stephen King short story.
An amazing debut.
Oh, God, he's so creepy. So creepy.
Ezekiel, what is his name?
Ezekiel.
Jedediah or something. It was something weird.
I don't remember.
But he would go, taking the kids gotta go to the cornfield.
Oh, God, he was so creepy. Creepy. Before Can't Buy Me Love, he was also in
Hard Bodies, Lust in the Dust, Secret Admirer, Back to the Future, The Children of Times Square, Rat Boy, American Harvest, and Winner Takes All.
After Can't Buy Me Love, he appeared in
Colors, 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 The Burbs, Memphis Belle, Behind Enemy Lines, Shadow of a Doubt, No Code of Conduct, Sweet Home Alabama, National Lampoon Presents Dorm Days, and Halloween.
Before working in a ton of B movies from 2007 to the present.
He's always a solid actor.
Yeah, he's so good in this.
He went from being the weirdo redhead as a kid,
to
being more of just a solid character actor playing, supporting parts of stuff. He's just a very solid dude, much like Max Perlich. They're both the same solid character actor guys. I love him, and I've told the story before. He back when I had my comedy group, the Choops, he would come out sometimes to be our musical guest. Amazing guitar player and singer, his own music, really great. Such a nice guy. He was a good friend of my buddy John, and he was just so gracious, so nice. And just the coolest dude. And look, man, we were playing in a little black box theater in front of like 40 or 50 people. And he would still come in and give it his all. And what a sweet, sweet dude. I will always love that man.
I got to meet him a couple times when he came to CGU. And he was always just so sweet.
Yeah.
Like he was just such a nice guy. So down to earth.
Very down to earth. Wish he had a bigger career. He should have been more like Xander Berkeley or somebody who was just constantly working. And I hope that he's older now. He'll start getting more and more work because he deserves it. The guy's super talented.
He most recently can be seen in Rice Girl, My Redneck Neighbor 2.
Okay. Well.
I mean, he is working a lot. It's just a lot of really low budget stuff.
Hey, look, man, you got to take what you can get.
No, look, he's working. He's working.
This business is feast or famine, and if you find a niche, you got to grab it because it is so hard to make a living in this business, especially as a supporting actor.
Yeah. Seth Green was cast as Chucky Miller, little Chucky Miller. Can't Buy Me Love was one of Green's earlier films.
Chucky. Hey, what do we got going on here, Dad? Hey, schnuggity-duggity.
He really is Jackie Mason.
Hey, my brother, what is with him? Hey, why is he with the hot girl? That's not true. He's not supposed to be with her. Something's fishy here. I'm going to have to investigate. I'm going to watch my brother lose his virginity.
He did.
Gross.
I don't think he lost his virginity. I think he just, as he said, got some tit.
Well, he watched his brother get boob. That is gross.
It's still gross. Yes, I agree.
No one. He deserved all the farts in his face.
He did. He really did. He made his feature film debut in Billions for Boris in 1984 about three kids that tamper with the TV and realize it's broadcasting tomorrow's programming.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is, again, a very good log line. I'm sure the movie's terrible. Green had he's had a very long career on TV and voiceover. And in movies, a bunch of movies. His movies include
My Stepbrother's an Alien, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, Can't Hardly Wait, Enemy of the State, Idle Hands, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Josie and the Pussycats, Rat Race, Austin Powers, and Goldmember, Sex Drive, Old Dogs, and Weird, The Well Yankovic Story.
He's had a much more prolific career in TV, appearing in
Good and Evil, The Birds of Paradise, The X-Files, Temporarily Yours, Mad About You, The Drew Carey Show, 40 episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Greg the Bunny, Mad TV, Four Kings, Entourage, Heroes, Dads, Castle, Broad City, and The Connors.
One could argue that Green is just as famous for his voiceover work as he is for anything else.
He is. You also forgot my favorite, It. Stephen King's It, playing the young... the young little comedian guy.
Right.
That was played by your favorite from Night Court.
Yes. His name I don't remember.
No, but you love him.
Yep.
And he's dead.
Yes, he's dead. In 2001, Green created Robot Chicken, which ran for 21 years and aired 227 episodes.
What a brilliant show.
Yeah.
Using like action figures
Yeah.
and
It's so brilliant. You know, he was just hanging out with his friends. Like, why can't we just do this?
it is the perfect Gen X show.
It is so
It
brilliant.
is the perfect nostalgic Gen X and millennial show because it skewers all that stuff so perfectly.
Literally creating memes before memes were
Yeah.
on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
It was so brilliant.
That's a perfect way to put
Yeah,
it. Perfect
yeah.
way.
In 1999, Green scored the role of Chris Griffin on Family Guy, a part he has played for 26 years, over 431 episodes and counting.
Have you heard the story of when he auditioned for that?
No.
So he goes in and he decides that for the voice, he's going to do James Gum from Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he a great big fat person? So if you listen to Peter Griffin,
Yeah.
Or not Peter,
Chris.
Chris Griffin, he does sound just like that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He is
really does.
Jamie Gum from Silence of the Lambs, and that stuck.
That's so funny.
He's really funny on that show. The kid is so talented.
Oh, yeah.
Kid, he's like my age.
Yeah.
The man is
He's
so talented.
very talented.
But I'll always think of him as just that little snotty kid. He just
Oh, yeah,
seems like
yeah.
that little red-haired brat.
That's true. In 2014, he was cast as Leonardo on the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, voicing the character in 70 episodes before being canceled in 2017. He also voiced Joker in the Mass Effect series and provided characters for Watch Dogs and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Oh, I remember him from Mass Effect.
Oh god, he was so good in that.
He was driving the ship.
He was the, I would say the pilot. Technically he was the pilot.
Yeah.
Green can most recently be seen on the miniseries finale of The Connors and can be heard on Family Guy, which is currently airing its 23rd season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's no word on whether or not they're going to be renewed for a 24th.
Probably will.
Still up in the air. Yeah, but most likely. It's a solid show that keeps getting stuff.
I still watch it. It's still funny. It's kind of come around. It was a little bit long in the tooth.
I gave up on it a while ago.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It was a bit dated, you know.
Yeah.
Not that I'm complaining about. Ooh, it was politically incorrect or whatever.
No,
it's just the jokes weren't hitting. It just was a little stale.
It was around the time where I was like, "You've done this joke before," and yeah.
But they're trying some new stuff. Hey, look, man. Not everybody can be The Simpsons. Not everybody can reinvent itself all the time and be brilliant. And hey, man. 21 years is a long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, 26 years.
26.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was canceled and brought back
twice
yeah. is a really cool badge to wear.
Yeah. I mean, I have ultimate respect for Seth MacFarlane and for the show.
Me too.
Sharon Farrell was cast as Mrs. Mancini, Cindy's mom.
Oh, she loved her bohunks.
Oh, my God. He was so gross. That guy was so gross.
What are you doing, 15-year-old girl? You want to come over here?
I thought you were the little sister.
Don't worry. I'll be taking care of your mom later.
Your big sister. Big sister.
Yeah. Big sister.
So creepy.
Gonna give her the hot beef injection.
But I will say that little short scene where she comes home and the mom is there, like obviously like kind of ready to stay in for the night, and she's like, "Well, I thought you were gonna go out." And she's like, "I'm kind of done with it." And she's like, "There's a good movie on." It was so sweet and so nice. Like the connection was so good.
Yeah, look, I like when they show the humanity because mom is not just a bitch.
No,
mom is a single mom who's working hard to give her daughter everything she wants.
Yeah.
And her daughter's got some issues.
Yeah. Farrell is known for 40 Pounds of Trouble in 1962, a comedy co-starring Tony Curtis, Susan Plachette, Larry Storch, and Phil Silvers, directed by Norman Jewison.
Oh, Phil Silvers. Oh, boy. Oh, kid, what are you... Oh, Phil Silvers.
She was also in The Spy with My Face in 1965, a movie offshoot of the TV show The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
It's a really weird title.
The Spy with My Face.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me want to see it. I'm curious.
The song is really bad, though. The Spy with My Face.
Well, that sounds pretty good.
It's all over the place.
Oh.
He is a disgrace to my face.
And then he went
face.
And then he went to space.
He then went to space with my face. It goes on and on.
It does. It goes for a while.
It's longer than
literally every single word that rhymes with face is included.
It's actually longer than the Def Leppard
the album
song that came out in 87.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Beat that record.
She was also in A Lovely Way to Die in 1968, a neo-noir starring Kirk Douglas.
That is a really good movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I love Kirk Douglas, and it's a neo-noir, so I'm kind of curious. She was in Marlowe in 1969, starring James Garner.
That's a fun one, too, with Garner playing
I have actually
Philip Marlowe.
I have seen that one.
Yeah.
I really like that movie. In 1970, Farrell gave birth to her only son. This is crazy. She gave birth to her only son, but suffered an embolism, which caused her heart to stop beating for 4 minutes.
Good Lord.
She ended up with a serious brain damage that resulted in memory loss and physical impairments.
That's insane.
With the help of colleagues, Farrell worked to regain her abilities, including her memory, and resumed her acting career, yet she kept her illness a secret under the advice of friend and actor Steve McQueen, who warned her that if word of her illness got out, her career would be over.
He ain't lying. Good for him.
Keeping her illness hidden, she worked steadily for decades after that.
You couldn't tell?
I had no idea.
No.
She was so good in this movie.
Yes, it's amazing.
After the embolism and her kid was born, she appeared in It's Alive in 1974, written and directed by Larry Cohen. Another one of those horror movies with the cover that I saw at the rental store.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
With the little, it was black and then the buggy and stuff with the weird hand coming out.
Yep.
Yeah. Out of the Blue in 1980, directed by Dennis Hopper.
I barely remember that.
I am so bereft on my Dennis Hopper directed films.
I was a real big fan of his because of Easy Rider, so I watched all of his stuff, but he was not a very good director in his later...
Oh, yeah. She was also in The Stuntman in 1980, starring Peter O'Toole.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, my God. We're definitely covering that.
Okay. She was also in Lone Wolf McQuade in 1983, starring Chuck Norris and David Carradine.
The only Chuck Norris movie I can remember liking.
Yes, that was another one that my friend Damien and I always made fun of growing up. The Lone Wolf McQuade.
Lone Wolf. It had a great title.
Yeah.
I saw it probably when I was 12, so I don't...
Yeah.
I don't know if it holds up. I doubt it.
It's an early Chuck Norris movie. The action sequences will be great.
Yes.
But it's going to be bad.
I kick everybody in the nuts. I'm Chuck Norris.
She was also in Night of the Comet in 1994, starring Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney.
Listen to our Night of the Comet show.
Night of the Comet movie. Night of the Comet show, which I believe she played, I think it was Catherine Mary Stewart's mother in it that ends up disappearing.
Yeah.
She's not in it very much.
No.
But I love Night of the Comet. It's such a good movie.
Oh, me too.
Such a good movie. Farrell retired after 1999, making just one appearance on TV in 2013 in Broken at Love, some TV show. Sadly, she died on May 15th in 2023 at the age of 82, but it went unreported in the media until August 5th of that same year.
Weird.
I think her family very much did the same thing, with the embolism. They were just we're going to keep everything secret.
Okay.
Yeah. But she was so good. And more props to her because she was great in this movie, and the fact that she fought through that medical issues and, still had an amazing career.
Insane.
Good for you.
And look at the crap you have to go through in Hollywood to protect your career. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I know. It's so stupid.
There's no compassion or empathy in this business.
No, there is absolutely not. Dennis Dugan was cast as David Miller.
Dugan. Shut up.
Ronald's dad.
The best is shut up, Chucky. Shut your mouth, Chucky.
But I was talking to Mom.
Shut up, Chucky.
So great.
Shut the F up, you little brat.
Dugan is more well known as a director than an actor. He made his directing debut with Problem Child in 1990.
Yeah, they should have known. They should have known then. And then cut him off. You're done, Dugan.
Such a bad movie.
The star of that movie is the anti-Seth Green. He was like the little redhead that was the most obnoxious. Poor kid, by the way. Like I said.
He played it really well.
I never want to disparage child actors or children because it's not nice or fair, but that little kid, they did not do him any favors with any of the Problem Child movies, and poor John Ritter.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, God, I hated that movie. I hated that kid so much.
We are going to cover it at some point.
So I'm going to hate watch
We're going to do another, we're going to have to do another Movies We Hate month.
Oh, that is on it.
Yeah. It's so bad.
Poor child. I hated that child so much.
In 1996, he directed Happy Gilmore and started a long partnership with Adam Sandler, also directing...
Big Daddy, the Benchwarmers. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. You don't mess with the Zohan. Grown-ups, just go with it. Jack and Jill, and grown-ups too. One good one.
Jack and Jill?
Yeah. Al Pacino, Pacino.
It is the greatest Al Pacino performance of all time.
Oh my God, that movie is so awful. I love...
Adam Sandler.
I love Adam Sandler. I think he's really funny. I also think he's like a sweet guy. He just seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
But my God, man.
Almost all of these movies are awful.
Big Daddy is good.
Big Daddy's actually not bad.
But it's still not great. The Benchwarmers is horrible. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry is one of the worst comedies I've ever seen in my life.
Homophobic movies I've ever seen.
Nothing funny about that.
No,
it's like 8 different drop the soap jokes.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't Mess with the Zohan is actually not bad. It's one of the better ones.
It's interesting because his character is completely crazy, or over the top.
Yeah.
But everybody else is very grounded.
Right, and he's also more of a hero, and he's playing a character rather than just playing himself.
That's what I was trying to say.
Grown Ups is god effing awful. I don't know. I think Just Go With It is with Jennifer Aniston. Who pretends to be in a family or something. It's some dumb movie. Jackie Jill, horrible. Grown Ups 2.
Even worse.
Unwatchable. Effing watchable. To take the talent that it takes to take Chris Rock and Adam Sandler and David Spade and all of these really funny guys. I'm definitely leaving out Rob Schneider because it's not funny at all.
Doesn't it also have John Cena in that?
I don't know. Maybe the second one.
I think he's in the second one. But I think he is. Anyway. But I'm just adding to the...
So bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it is aggressively unfunny. Both of those movies. Aggressively unfunny.
Oh, man. So Dennis Dugan also played characters in most of these movies. It's funny because I totally did not, when I was writing this, I could not remember who he was. The second he showed up on screen, I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's, like I said, he's Nat Faxon.
Yeah.
1.0.
Yeah. He will be seen in Happy Gilmore 2, reprising the role of Doug Thompson, which he played in Happy Gilmore, which he directed. But Happy Gilmore 2 will be directed by Kyle Newacek, who directed and produced a bunch of What We Do in the Shadows episodes.
Okay, then I have some hope.
Literally, the first thing that makes me want to see Happy Gilmore 2 is the fact that Kyle Newacek is directing it.
Oh my God, the trailer looks like the laziest movie. It's like, like I said, I like him, but it honestly looks like he just shows up in like a 1972 Dodge. Rolls out. Oh, what are we doing today? Okay, I'm just going to say my lines, and then, let's go back and get some burgers. It just seems so lazy.
Yeah. I know. Amy Dolenz was cast as Fran.
Oh, yeah.
Dolenz is the daughter of Mickey Dolenz, a member of the Monkees.
Hey, we're the Monkees. People
say we're messing around. Or monkeying around. That actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know the words. Dolenz won a talent contest at the age of 15 and decided to become an actor.
Yeah. It was coincidentally judged by her father.
It was literally, the talent contest was her performing for her father.
Yes. It was the Monkees talent contest. Who's going to win? Her name is different. Oh, no, it's Dolenz.
She guest starred on
Growing Pains, Mr. Belvedere, Silver Spoons, and the new Leave It to Beaver. I totally forgot there was a new Leave It to Beaver.
I did too.
And it was not a very good show.
It's not. Dolenz actually auditioned for the part of Cindy, the lead that would eventually go to Amanda Peterson.
I could see it.
Her biggest role was opposite Tony Danza in She's Out of Control in 1989, which I think this is what I usually remember her from. I just remember the opening with her with the big glasses, and then she eventually gets really hot and is like very Pygmalion-esque.
Oh, yeah. And then Tony Danza.
Yeah.
She's out of control.
And Tony Danza.
Mona.
Just constantly. Why would he say that in that movie? She's not even in the movie.
Angela. Help me. She's out of control. Where's my monkeys? Give me some orangutans.
In the 90s, Dolenz appeared in a ton of B-movies and horror films, as well as keeping up guest appearances on TV shows. By 2010, she decided to step away from acting, but is open to coming back. She and her husband manage Kid Pix Productions, a company that stages movie shoots as birthday parties for children.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a clever idea.
Yeah.
It's a really clever idea.
Yeah, it's weird. I always thought it was odd that she didn't become a bigger star. She was very pretty. I agree. She was very charming.
She's talented. She's really good in this.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, man. I don't know what it was.
She also performs with the Right Act Repertory Theater, which is here in North Hollywood.
Very cool.
Yeah. George Gray, who plays Cindy's boyfriend Bobby and goes to Iowa, is now the announcer on The Price is Right.
Wait, she's with Ronnie?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
How dare you do that to me?
God, he was in that hair. That hair was so awful.
It was like a 3-stage mullet.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was all feathered, and there was a lot going on.
Yeah. And Paula Abdul actually choreographed some of the film and appeared as a dancer. I believe she choreographed the cheerleader ritual.
No, she did the cheerleading.
Oh, no, she did the cheerleading.
Because she was wasn't she a cheerleader for the L.A. Rams or somebody?
Probably. I don't remember.
But I think she was.
But I think she choreographed the stuff too, because she's been a choreographer for a long time.
Oh yeah, a choreographer. She
choreographer.
Tomato.
Choreographer.
She was a choreographer for many years. But yeah, she probably did the anteater dance too.
Yeah, I mean, I think
she
did most of it.
Choreograph.
Like, it was just dumb enough to be believable that people would start doing it.
Yes, a little more casual PBS racism.
Yeah, well, but I love the fact that it pointed out how just stupid and gullible these kids were.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, well, it's popular, let's do it.
The best is the nerds like,
yeah, it's the anteater dance.
So many neat little things.
You may be wondering, why was this movie so many people's first film, and why did a bunch of the actors not stick with acting? It was because the shoot was in Tucson, and it was non-union.
Really?
The movie was non-union.
How'd they get away with that?
I have no idea, because there were definitely actors in this that were union.
Dempsey, definitely.
Dempsey and Seth Green, and
yeah.
I mean all the older actors. I think there's some waivers you can do. Like you can do it like once or twice a year with the union. I mean, I'm not part of SAG, so I don't know.
There might have been something too when you're out of the jurisdiction back then.
Yeah.
I think if one of the reasons people shot out of LA was because they could get out of the union stuff. I think.
Right.
And then,
I mean, that's
back
possible.
Then.
But I'm pretty sure there's something with the union where it's like you can take non-union, but you can't do it too often. Yeah. And I think you get technically penalized for it. Yeah. So it's, but it's like not enough to be like, oh, I can take the paycheck and it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're non-union, there's no repercussions, but if you're union working a non-union, you can get kicked out of SAG.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I think that I think you have to let them know beforehand.
Right.
And there's waivers that can happen.
Yeah.
But let us know if we're wrong, because God knows we probably are.
Yeah, and I'm in SAG.
Yeah, I know. So this is why I was waiting for you to jump in with the actual,
Well, I wasn't in SAG in 87.
No. In fact, the Screen Actors Guild sent representatives to the set to dissuade the students at Tucson High School from being extras. While their plan ultimately failed, the school's drama club decided not to participate.
That's like a fart in church. Hey, guys, we're Hollywood suits. Don't be in this movie.
Yeah.
You kids with no future living in nowhere land.
People in Tucson who've never had anything like this ever happen to them before in their lives.
We'll give you a lifetime supply of Rolos.
So during post-production, the producers decided to change the name of the film from Boy Rents Girl to Can't Buy Me Love.
Very smart.
Yes.
Boy Rents Girl is a horrible title.
Very bad title. To use the Beatles song associated with the title, they had to screen the film for Michael Jackson, who had just bought the entire catalog of the Beatles' discography for $50 million. Jackson loved the movie and agreed to let them use the song.
I love this movie. I love it. I think this is such a great movie. Can I borrow Seth Green for about 3 months?
I have one stipulation. Seth Green needs to spend 3 nights at Never Never Land.
He's just I just love his comedy. He's like a little man. He's like a funny little man.
I like his little teeth. It's really funny. There's a really interesting quote from Michael Jackson about buying the Beatles' back catalog. And at the time, Paul McCartney was like horrified that Michael Jackson was going to buy it, and he was like, "It's $50 million. You don't think that your music is worth $50 million?
You don't think you're ignorant. You're ignorant if you think it's not worth $50 million. That's just ignorant, stupid man."
It was the most accurate depiction of Michael Jackson ever. He's so ignorant.
I want my songs back. Give me my songs back.
Well, I mean, he was right. God knows, Paul McCartnney had $50 million.
Yeah.
Anyway. And it still, to this day, is owned by Michael Jackson's estate. So, yeah.
You would think he would have willed it back to him, but no.
No, hell no. At the end of the penultimate lunchtime speech scene in which Ronald defends Kenneth against Quint apologizes to Kenneth, shakes his hand, and walks away. As the students and teachers begin to clap, Kenneth is seen putting his hands in his pockets. In the background to the right, an extra wearing a black t-shirt can be seen sucker punching another extra wearing a pink shirt with black sunglasses. It's just a lighthearted punch to the gut, but it's so random and so weird.
When you said it, I thought he was going to deck him.
No, I know. That's why when I was watching for it, I was like, oh yeah, and then it was like, oh no.
Because sucker punch usually,
I know, it means a lot more.
But it just seemed like he was playfully like, hey, buddy.
It was just weird. Yeah. It was just weird. And it was just so right there.
Well, extras, especially extras outside of Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
They do a lot of dumb shit to try to get noticed.
Yeah. The movie would end up becoming a sleeper hit at the end of the summer, earning $31.6 million.
Not bad.
Critics, though, hated the movie.
Oh, I bet.
Roger Ebert gave it a half star out of 4, saying,
If Can't Buy Me Love had been intended as a satirical attack on American values, if cynicism had been its target, we might be onto something here. But no! On the basis of the evidence, the people who made this movie are so materialistic that they actually think this is a teenage comedy, quoties. Can't they see the screenplay's rotten core?
Okay, I agree with him up to the screenplay's rotten core part.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I totally get it.
But I think what he misses is that this is what kids like. Kids are materialistic little monsters.
Yeah.
They don't have the nuance of Dawson's Creek, when the kids are talking like 30-year-olds.
Yeah, and it's not. He was in his 30s by this point, late 30s. Like it's he's not. When he was a teenager, it was a very different time.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yeah,
You know, it's not a great movie, but it definitely is accurate in terms of the way kids behave.
Look, I had the chance of becoming very popular and making my nerdy friends go away, and I saw this movie and I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
You're a good dude.
That is all a lie, because there was no chance of me ever becoming popular. But it's not. The movie still has. I get it. The movie is blunt, and it is not very articulate in how it gets the point across, but it gets the point across.
It does. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a very likable star in Patrick Dempsey.
He's just it's so weird, because I remember him being more likable.
Same.
It's just weird.
Same. I think that watching it again, the true star and the true likable person is
Cindy.
Cindy.
Is Amanda Peterson.
Yeah, Amanda Peterson is the heart.
No, and that is why I had a huge crush on her, because she was so down to earth and so good in this.
Ronnie only changes because he gets caught.
Because he has to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only reason.
And he's desperate to get his friends back and stuff, but he blew it.
Yeah.
And his, like I said, his scene with Courtney Gains in the arcade was so spot on.
Oh, yeah.
And his reaction afterwards of knowing he blew it and knowing it was over.
Well, yeah, the fact that he literally says, I have to make it right with you.
You shit on my house.
You shit on my house. God, he's so good in that. God,
So
he's just
good.
so wants to punch him so bad.
God damn it, Courtney Gains, if you're listening, you need to do more, buddy.
Oh, God, he's so good.
And
so
if
good.
casting directors are listening, get Courtney Gains in your goddamn projects.
There's so much TV happening right now. Get him in something.
Yes.
He deserves more.
He does.
He does. He really does.
I will say, though, that, like I said last week, I've been watching Patrick Dempsey in the Dexter prequel. He's really good.
Yeah. Look, we've got more Patrick Dempsey coming up, and we're going to talk more about him. But he's had a very interesting career, and he was just, I think it was last year or the year before, he was GQ's hottest man of the year.
People's sexiest man.
People's sexy, whatever. Some sexy hot thing.
Yeah, well, that's stupid. He's like 60.
I know.
But
he's like 60.
But here's the thing. I'll admit, I don't like Patrick Dempsey as an adult as much as I liked him as a teenager.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I never watched the McSteamy or McDreamy, whatever that show. Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Was that it?
That was the hospital show.
Yeah, I never watched that.
That's still on the air.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always thought of him as the nerd, and once he became a sex symbol or whatever, I just never bought it.
Yeah.
And that's maybe a testimony to his good acting, I don't know.
Yeah,
or just the fact that he was the perennial nerd for the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been fun seeing he and Christian Slater, these older guys, being the old dudes. But it's just so funny to think that Patrick Dempsey, out of all of them, had a career that lasted so long.
I know, it's weird.
No disrespect, Mr. Dempsey.
No, I mean, he's good, but it's just weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah. So in 2003, Can't Buy Me Love was remade as Love Don't Cost a Thing, starring Nick Cannon and Christina Milian.
Yeah, in this one, instead of buying a girl, he impregnates 14 girls. and they have to decide which one is going to raise all of his baby's mama's kids.
All of Nick Cannon's kids were born after this movie.
Oh, okay.
All 1,400 of them or whatever.
Between he and Elon Musk, they're repopulating the world. They're the Genghis Khans of this century.
Though the triggering event differs between the two films, many of the aspect scenes of the original film are reinterpreted in this remake, such as the eating of raw egg in the home economics classroom, as well as the cheerleader telling the bully that he's sitting in the wrong section of the cafeteria and that he needs to sit in the asshole section of the cafeteria.
Ew.
I did not realize that Love Don't Cost a Thing was a remake of this movie.
Really?
I had no idea. I never saw it. I mean, I had no reason to watch it.
You're not a big Nick Cannon fan?
No, not like you, apparently.
Hey, Nick Cannon. I liked Nick Cannon when he was on like Nickelodeon and starting out his career as a kid. He was funny. He was fast-talking.
Well, I liked him when he became apparently an inseminating machine.
Well, he has got some serious sperm. Serious sperm.
That's actually the name of his reality show, Nick Cannon's Serious Sperm.
Yeah, don't let it come at you, ladies. You just look at it, you get pregnant. If you smell it.
He definitely disproved the fact that love don't cost a thing because he's got to take care of like 14 kids.
Yeah, love costs about $180,000 a month in child support.
Anyway, this is our first in our McNerdy month. It is my birthday this month, so I did choose to watch these Patrick Dempsey movies. Next week, we're going to be watching Loverboy, which is going to be so not good.
I remember Kirstie Alley.
It has Kirstie Alley and Carrie Fisher in it. So, I mean, it's got a lot of the ladies in it are really good.
He's a pizza delivery boy.
Yeah.
Who's delivering his own little sausage. That was the tagline.
Yeah. And then at the end of the month, we're going to be doing Run, which I have literally brought this up to so many people the last 2 weeks, and nobody has heard of this movie.
It was kind of the end of Dempsey, because Dempsey dropped out for a while.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until, I think, and we'll talk about it, but like I believe he started a different career for a bit, and then he got back, and that's when he got into TV, and then doing the General Hospital, doing the Grey's Anatomy, and then that's when his acting career took off again.
Well, if you haven't seen this movie, you should definitely check it out.
Yes,
it is a great time capsule of the '80s high school experience.
It is for me. I was very scared that this movie was going to be awful.
Yeah, same.
And it was not.
No.
I was very impressed. I enjoy it. I would watch this again.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
Yeah, it has definitely got some nostalgia sheen on it. And
sorry, I just kicked the cat. Sorry. Oh, God, I just stepped on her tail. All right, sorry.
It definitely has some nostalgia sheen. Definitely has some nostalgia sheen on it. And there are problematic things. But...
yeah.
And Patrick Dempsey is not likable in it.
It's amazing how unlikable he is in this.
But it is watchable, and I usually hate cringe. It's hard for me to watch cringy things. Like I can't really marathon The Office too much because I'll just cringe myself to death.
Yeah.
But it's also fun to watch his comeuppance, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they do a really good job of destroying him.
It is. I realize that the movie is clunky when it comes to telling this. It's not subtle in any way. But, like, at the end of the day, we need more of this.
Yes.
It's very black and white.
Yeah.
It's like, he wanted to get this thing, and he did it at all costs. Yeah. And he did. Be careful what you wish for. Right. And now you got your comeuppance. And, like, that is something that I feel like is not as common in movies anymore.
No, and it was earned. It was earned. His behavior towards Cindy... and his evolution from, geek to chic.
Yeah.
It was very well done because all of us who were nerds and somehow got up into the upper cliques, it was not easy and it wasn't cheap. It cost you friends. It cost you part of your heart. It's ruthless, man.
Yeah.
If you remember high school was a ruthless, painful, difficult, heartbreaking.
It was not a fun time.
No. I mean,
if it was a fun time for you, you're probably still wishing it was high school time.
Yeah. Well, I had a mix. I had great times and bad times, horrible times and amazing times. So I was blessed with a very varied high school experience. I got to pretty much experience it all.
Yeah.
But I will never forget the loneliness and the pain of being that nerd.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I remember even in grade school, you know, I was the one kid that wasn't invited to the bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
You know, everybody had that, you know, I didn't even know. The Monday, everybody's talking about it. And
Right.
I was the only one. And that's like, well, what the F?
Yeah.
What did I do?
That's bullshit.
You know, so I get it. And popularity is such a bizarre thing. High school is such a bizarre experiment in human emotion and hierarchy. And it is a microcosm of what's to come.
Yeah.
Because the people that grow up or grow out of that horrible mindset of, you know, jock punishment and hazing and bullshit.
Yeah.
Those guys grow up to be assholes. And, you know, you have the materialistic people that grow up to be assholes. And then you also have the sad people that were crapped on the entire time that grow up to be assholes. Right. You know, so it's like, it's very difficult to come out unscathed and be a good person, you know?
Yeah.
You got to work at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. This movie is not easy to find. I think it pops up on streaming once in a while. Yeah. But it's also, you can get it super cheap. Buy a physical copy of it. It's super cheap.
Totally. And I'm realizing it's very sad that it seems like the comedies of our youth are being erased.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are being thrown into some dustbin where you can't find them. And these were staples of our youth.
Yeah.
And they're not making crap like this anymore. You know?
No, I feel like people need to see this movie.
Yes.
I think it lays out very well, like what not to do.
Well, the thing about the 80s comedies is they had values, you know? Mm-hmm. They had a certain morality to them. And they all kind of follow the same morality, which was, at the end, you have to be a good person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is definitely a lesson that kids and adults and all of us need to learn, is that in the end, you got to be a good person.
Yeah.
And because if we're all good people, then we live in a good society where people are helping each other rather than just trying to destroy each other because of whatever ridiculous, stupid, nonsensical argument that you're having or disagreement, or you see some niggling little thing that has no forbearance on your life or anything.
Right.
And then you die on that hill.
Yeah,
you know?
You just never let that go.
No, and we need compassion. We need more Ronald Millers and Sydneys to come together and show us that, you know, let's get past this crap and just be pals.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with Loverboy, which does not have the same, as far as I remember, does not have the same moral quandaries that this movie does.
No, it's basically male prostitution.
It is a sex comedy.
Yeah, but, you know, remember, if you're looking at a weird dance, it might be from PBS. Welcome to the Kinetic. Welcome to the Kinetic Files.
The Kinetic Files.
You know, I got in my head because the last one I did was weird, and you looked at me like it was super weird because I was like, "Welcome to the Kinetic Files" or something, and you were like, "What? Like, are you going to do it again?"
I thought you were going to do it again, and then you didn't.
I didn't. So now I'm in my head about it.
All right.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, Thundercats, already in progress.